UN Habitat global report. We have two global reports: Global Report of Human Settlement, and also the State of War Cities report, which are launched every 2 years. Right at the headquarters of UN Habitat here in Africa, we are launching this report.
If we talk about what represent the new engines of growth, of course, it's urban, it's cities, but more importantly, it's these urban agglomerations that we in the report we are describing them, we are presenting which are the most important. But just to mention to you that this idea that cities can be divided in terms of big, small, medium-sized city is not any longer valid in terms of dichotomy of classification of cities, and we should think in the future in terms of this large urban agglomeration.
What we find in almost all the cities, and you'll find that we examine cities in countries that are as large as India with 1.2 billion people, to Kingston that is under 3 million people, and over in all the countries, the outcome is almost the same. In the rankings of young people, the most disadvantaged people, the most deprived people, are usually those who don't go to school. If you are unable to get good education, you have fixed the trajectory of your life. And close to 90% in all the countries, all the cities, rank those who are uneducated as the most deprived, followed by people who live in slums. In other words, if you live in areas where there's no water, there's no sanitation, where you have poor living conditions, you are almost always likely, there's a propensity that you are going to end up in certain ways that are different from what we might describe as excellent.
On political equality, the youth are marginalized and excluded from the decision-making machinery of the country, and yet 75% of Kenya's population is under 30 years. The youth also feel as if they're being exploited by politicians and are used to stir up violence.
I congratulate UN Habitat for authoring this book because it has added, and enriched the report in relation to youth development in all over the world. I also want to congratulate the UN Habitat for this report because they have involved the youth themselves in this report, as attested to by the youth representative here. Because what we are hearing all the time is that the policymakers hand over, all the policies that are involving the youth, that they just hand it over to them. They don't own it. But since they were particularly involved in this report, I believe the youth that are involved will own this report, and they will support the policymakers in the policy direction.